forward to this computer. All right. Well, welcome to our February. I can't believe it's already February. Advanced Roadmap member call. This is going to be a subject that's near and dear to my heart because, as many of you know, I did not actually start this business until I started taking care of me first. And I had been watching Laura for a long time, kind of share her journey and her business. And I watched her business grow and I watched her take even better care of herself. And so watching those two come together was actually a little bit of an inspiration to me that you can do both. So I will introduce our guest speaker tonight, physical therapist and advocate for doTERRA, and currently working on releasing her first course called Laura Made Me Do It, weightlifting course. Is that what it's called?
Yes, and it was my followers that created that name. They were like, they created this hashtag and would tag me and stuff like Laura made me do it. And it felt appropriate.
Um, so funny enough, actually, I had been following Laura for a couple of years before I ever messaged her for the first time. And when I did message her for the first time, I was 100% ready to buy what she was selling. And that was her oils, and now, of course, her weightlifting course. Because I was like, you need to do this. um, but this just speaks to like keeping showing up, even if you feel like no one's paying attention, no one's buying, no one's commenting. You're going to always have various people in different parts of your funnel. So give it time to work. A lot of the times we don't give things long enough to actually see the fruit of our labor. And we actually recorded a Q&A, Laura and I did, similar to this for my network marketing team. And it was so great talking about how people are watching even when you don't think they are. So if you'd like the link to watch that, I do have a YouTube link for that. If you're okay with that, Laura. You're
Yes,
pretty
please
go
share
with the
away.
flow. So, that's a bonus on the bonus training. But tonight we're going to talk about physical health and how it impacts your business. So you guys all know my story. Um, but when I started walking, when I started working out, when I started eating well, um, I felt good and I was able to show up as a completely different person. My mind was clear. I was eager to do things, so much more so than I was before. So topic really near and dear to my heart. And I want to cover this in depth, because I know, if you're not yet sold out on the idea of taking care of yourself first, this is really going to be the turning point for you. And physical health really does equal wealth in your business. So, um, I think Laura does a great job like showing how she integrates her health with her business. I don't know if you guys have gone and followed her at all, but she's constantly talking about like helping people with oils and going to the gym and this is what I ate today. And it's just so like real life and relatable and like, oh, if Laura can do this, I can do this too. Um, One of the things that I love is seeing her Chipotle on every Friday. Mark goes and gets Chipotle and she loads it up with extra vegetables. And one time I was even on the phone with her on a Friday afternoon. I'm like, what is that clanking? And she's like, oh, I'm making extra vegetables. I'm like, okay, I haven't heard of that, but okay. But she really just embodied the mantra of a healthy person and a healthy business owner. So Laura, did I miss anything in your introduction? I saw you had all these letters next to your name. I have no idea what they mean.
I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, nobody knows what all those letters mean. So it's for, I have a doctorate in physical therapy. I'm a licensed physical therapist. We get two different sets of letters for that, which is fun. And then I am a national board certified health and wellness coach, specializing in women's health and functional nutrition. So that's what all of that means, which
I
basically
didn't
means my love language is to
I
help
didn't even know
empower
that last
people.
part. And you've been keeping that a secret.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes it fun. But I'm here. I feel like my love language is to help women step into their power.
Okay. And what does that look like?
That looks like letting go of the good girl mentality and starting to take care of and choose yourself. And when we do that, when we nourish ourselves, we grow, we bloom, we step into our power, we become more confident, we're able to do tons of stuff. But it's challenging, I think, because we're taught not to speak up, not to use our voice, to be quiet, to hide in the background, to take care of everybody else first. Otherwise, you're bad. And then we're shamed for it. Yet we're expected to do everything, do it perfectly, do it in high heels. And that's just not realistic. So I was a burned out, stressed out healthcare professional. I was a physical therapist for several years and actually got cancer. And that's what kind of set me down this path of learning the hard way that when we don't take care of ourselves, we, in my case, got sick. And there were little whispers and little intuitions that came in that I ignored. And I was like, oh no, like, let's just push that away. Let's just push harder. Let's just ignore it. And I was living on coffee and taking 2 Advil and coffee in the morning to treat patients, and then doing that whole thing again in the afternoon to treat patients, and got very sick and went through this journey and realized we can't change the world when we're sick. And that was a big wake up call. And I made a pact with my body that things were going to look differently. And that meant changing a lot of things, but literally detoxifying my life, from leaving a toxic job to toxic relationships to starting to nourish myself from the inside out. So that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I know what it's like to be sick. I know what it's like to go through a lot of surgeries or have a lot of health challenges. And I want people to know that you can heal, and it can be a really powerful thing. I feel like I have such a bigger impact now going through all of that than before. So
Absolutely.
you're burned out or stressed out, I see you and we're going to help you with that.
Yes, yes, thank you. I love that you include like toxic everything. Like it's the whole picture. It's not just one piece or another. A lot of the times we try to put everything into buckets of like, here's my life, here's my family, here's my business, here's my full-time job, instead of thinking of it all together. And we really do talk a lot about like it's not a balance, it's like a teeter-totter, or it's an ebb and a flow with everything. Um can you share, because we are all business owners here, or soon to be business owners. I don't know. Kim, have you gotten your LLC yet? She's working on it. She's also moving. Speaking of stressed
Hey,
out.
hey, LLC, girl, I'm just trying to find some boxes.
Yeah.
No, so that's something I'm absolutely going to pick up once we get there and get settled. So, like I told you today, tomorrow we are 7 days away from starting our move. So give me a couple weeks and we'll be back in motion. I still have lots of the ideas running around in my head, still kind of working and posting things on. I'm gonna Instagram up and going, but yeah, definitely LLC will happen
Love it.
within 4 to 6 weeks. But boy, I gotta figure out how to get moved first.
I love that. And the great thing about the roadmap is it's lifetime access. So if you don't get to it over the next couple of weeks, it's still there for you when, a lot of times we put these deadlines on ourselves that aren't necessarily true. And one thing that I've noticed Laura do recently is with her weightlifting course, she's like, I'm going to get it out January 4th. And then the end of December started ticking around and she's like, yeah, it's not coming out then. It'll come out maybe March. And even last night, you're like, you know what? I've had migraines. Life has kind of beaten me down. It might not come out March 1st, but when it does come out, it's going to be amazing. So you're just going to have to be patient with me. Um, and taking that, like, I think a lot of times we put like arbitrary deadlines on ourselves when no one else has put that on us. So, um, Laura, can you share a couple of examples of how investing in your physical health has positively impacted your business?
Yes. Oh man. One, you are the billboard for your business. So this is like what's showing up, and that's going to be you're the gateway person with who you bring and the energy that you have and all of that. And I really believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. And one of the things that I noticed, and I should just preface this with, I was not an athlete. I hated gym class as a kid. I was the last one to run the mile. I could never do the pull up. I hated gym class. And then as a physical therapist, we had to take a kinesiology from hell class, and we had to like sprint and do pull ups and do all of these things. And I ran 5Ks for extra credit just to pass that class. I called it the exercise from hell class. So know that you are talking to somebody who hated exercise or was always taught originally that, well, I just need to do a bunch of cardio to be thinner or littler, or all of these things, and was just killing myself with cardio. And I did not enjoy exercise and I thought it was the devil. So I'll just start with that. Like, I did not like this. And to even be thinking, oh, you're like teaching women how to weight lift. I never would have thought that that would be the case. And so I took people on the journey with me of day one, walking into the gym, sweaty pits, standing in the corner because I didn't even want to like get on the equipment, like picking up some dumbbells, not knowing what the heck I was doing. And I think people found that inspiring, and it was real because they saw me start to show up consistently and train. And I think people saw that consistency and noticed that I was keeping my word to myself. And maybe even on a subconscious level, understood that it takes that energy flow into my business where they know, you know what, Laura's really consistent with what she's doing. I think she's going to be consistent with supporting me as well with my product or my service. I do essential oils with doTERRA. And it created a new audience of people who were in a similar boat, right? We all know exercise is good for us. Like, we've heard the studies, you've seen it. Okay, yes. But we're also like, ooh, it's painful and it hurts and I don't want to do it. And I don't have time for that. And that's crazy. And I don't want to bulk up. And what is she talking about? So I found like my people found me of just people watching me for a while. And it always takes time to transform your body, takes time to build a business. And it was after I did it for a year that people were like, I watched you do that for a year and I signed up for a gym membership today. I watched you do this for a year and I bought my first set of dumbbells or whatever. And I thought that's really cool. And even more so than that, like when we're looking at how's this positively impacted my business, the gym became my therapy. I thought that this was going to be a physical journey, but what I realized it is more mental than physical. And it became the place that I could decompress and get rid of the day. And it's me and my weights. And there's something really powerful when you step up to that bar. And even more so as a woman. I listened to a TED Talk and this doctor was saying that she pulled research that showed that for every one woman in the weightlifting section of the gym, there's going to be about 27 men on average. It's no wonder to me that we feel uncomfortable. We feel very safe on the cardio. All the women are on the cardio machines, but the magic happens with anti-aging, with heart health, with muscle, and muscle is the organ of longevity. There's even research studies that it's going to reduce your wrinkles. Weight training, it's going to make you look younger. It's going to help with your blood sugar and your metabolism and your libido and your hormones and everything. And we can't substitute weight training in any other way. That's how we get it. That's the pill for this. So I think that that's so powerful. And just like showing up for yourself in your business, getting online, showing your face, getting on video, you're terrified. Like I was terrified in the beginning. I hated public speaking, but the magic comes when you train your brain to do the hard things and do it anyways and continue to show up. And what you realize is it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. And the gym went from feeling terrifying to feeling like home. And a lot of the guys in the gym that I was maybe afraid of have become friends. Like we think everybody's staring at us. Nobody's staring, like everybody's working on their own stuff. So that really made a big impact on me in my business. And I think there's so many parallels between going on a fitness journey or a health journey and building a business.
100%. 100%. I think sometimes we think it's something's going to take so long to do. You know, it's going to take me all this time and all this energy to go to the gym, when in fact, if you just put your dang clothes on and went to the gym, it would be over in the time that you were thinking about it. And same thing with our business. I had been putting something off today, like over the last week or so, that I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I sat down and it took me 30 minutes to knock it out. Like, you know, turn those notifications off and just get to work.
We big deal it.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So Laura, how do you prioritize your physical health while managing the demands of running your business? Like how do you find the time to go to the gym, to make your extra veggies for your Chipotle, for all the things?
Oh, I heard you talk about this, and this is actually what I do too. I schedule all of those necessities first. They are literally on my calendar. This is when you go to work out. This is when you're going to go grocery shop. This is when you're going to meal prep and cook. Those go on there first because I know that if I don't take care of myself, I'm no good to anybody else and I'm not going to be able to serve my clients well. So know that, and I really recommend with people, like, start with one thing. Like, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. Like, pick one. That could be, Laura, I'm going to drink more water, or I'm going to work on steps, or like, please do not be like, I'm going to drink more water and I'm going to cook more vegetables and I'm going to walk more steps. I'm going to start weight. Like, it's too much. So I started with the nutrition piece. I started on a weight loss journey and I really focused on my nutrition. I lost 35 pounds. And when that became automatic and I didn't have to think about it anymore, then I decided now I'm going to start weight training and do one thing at a time with that. And the nice thing about working from home, if you don't have a crock pot or an instant pot or an air fryer, like just get those things because the key with the vegetables is frozen vegetables and you just throw it in the air fryer and push the broccoli button and then you come back in 10 minutes and your vegetables are done. Like less is more. This has to be realistic. I'm not going to buy the whole tree of broccoli and chop it up and no, frozen, but like keep it simple as much as possible. Show yourself grace as much as possible with this.
I love that. And we talk a lot in the roadmap about like aiming for 80% of,
Mm.
oh, I don't have time to hit 10,000 steps. Well, do you have time to hit 8,000 steps or 5,000 steps? Like if you go from 0 steps or, you're getting 1,500 steps a day, isn't 5,000 steps a move right in the right direction? And like be proud of that 5,000 steps instead of just going, oh, I can't hit 10, so I'm not going to do any at all and
I
stay
love
exactly
that.
where you are. So we talk a lot about the 80% of like, we're going to put things out with typos. The videos are going to have ums or not make sense sometimes, but there's the videos, the content out in the world is going to help people and it's going to teach you so much more than waiting for it to be 100%, and never feeling ready to put it out there in the world.
Yes. And it humanizes you. And people relate to that.
100%. 100%. Okay, Laura, tell us a little bit about like what your daily health routine looks like. So you said you schedule it in.
I schedule it in.
Yep.
Okay, I wake up, I pee, and then I meditate. That, and I usually, this is TMI, we're here for the real. I usually meditate while I am peeing. Like the first thing that I open up is the insight timer because I do not open up social media. You got to pour into yourself before you do anything else. So I like the insight timer. It is a free app. They have short ones. Some are 30 seconds. Some are a minute. I'm talking a minute, 2 minutes. Yes, multitasking, totally. You can meditate on the toilet. It's good for your pelvic floor. My background's women's health and pelvic floor PT. So it's good to relax when you're sitting on the toilet and you don't want to push your string because it's not good for your pelvic floor muscles. Anyways, I had to do it. It's the thing. But yes, so a minute, 2 minutes, it just makes me feel more calm. I accomplished it. And I love that Insight Timer tracks. So I have like consistent days and I don't want to miss because I like built it up. So it's a fun thing to do with your habits to start checking the boxes or checking the days or whatever it is. But that just listening to a little Insight Timer thing, it does not have to take a long time. That is what I do. It centers me and it makes me feel like I poured into myself. Then we eat some breakfast. And the goal is to get around 30 grams of protein in with my meals per day. People go, oh my gosh, that sounds impossible. No, like do a protein powder, add some collagen peptides into your coffee. If I add 4 tablespoons of collagen peptides into my coffee, that's 20 grams of protein right there. You will not taste it. It dissolves really well. Get protein. It keeps you satiated and you're going to need it to build muscle if you're lifting. So I do a bunch of collagen peptides in my coffee. I eat my breakfast and I fill up my great big water bottle. So I've got that with me for the day. And then I'm like, great, I've already started. I got my protein in, I got my water, I'm enjoying my cup of coffee, and I feel good. And then usually I will try to lift in the afternoon, either right before lunch or right after lunch. I just find for me, afternoon is a good sweet spot. Do it when it works for you. When I say lift weights, I'm talking 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Ain't nobody got time to go into the gym for an hour and a half. That is not realistic. So we do short lifts, and then I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to set a goal to get around 30 grams of protein again with my lunch. So I do like, if you like tuna, that's a great way to get a ton of protein. Like just open up a can of tuna, throw some mayo in there, mix it up. You could put some pickles, you could put onion, you could put celery, whatever you like in there. Tuna is great and it's quick, but it could be anything. It could be, if you love lunch meat, just look and read how much protein is in there, or like a chicken breast or something. So I try to get some type of vegetable, some type of fruit, protein, and a healthy fat in there, and we're good to go. I tend to do my best work in the afternoon. So, and I should side note, take creatine. Just do it. This is the one thing that I wish I would have known when I started weightlifting, and I didn't find out about creatine until like 10 months into my weightlifting journey. Get a creatine supplement. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a powder, it could be a gummy, it could be whatever, but your goal is 5 grams of creatine. And you're going to want to take that before your lift. And what creatine does is it helps not only with cognition and thinking, so with your focus on your business, and there's some cool mental health benefits with that, but it also helps produce lean muscle, which we want. Now notice when you first start taking it, your weight may go up just a little bit. It's water weight. It will come off. Some people freak out and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, it's fine. Like take the creatine, keep lifting. It's going to be okay, but take some creatine. And I tend to do my best work in the afternoons. So that's when I schedule important calls, when I work on content, when I'm doing those types of things. And then I'll start cooking dinner around 4:35. And usually it's like I throw chicken breast in the crock pot. Primal Kitchen. Write that down. They have the best sauces. There's no sugar added. There's no junk in them. And they're amazing. You could get the teriyaki sauce and just throw it on some chicken breast and let that cook in the crock pot, or barbecue or buffalo sauce or whatever you want. It is so good. And throw some frozen veggies into the air fryer. This does not have to take you a ton of time, but for dinner, I try to eat a whole lot of vegetables. Again, I shoot for 30 grams of protein, something like in that range, and lots of healthy fats. So ladies, if you can just start, maybe that's where you start. You just work on, I'm going to slowly increase my protein. That would be great. In the summer, I will walk outside after dinner, do a little walk if it's nice. It's winter right now, so I'm usually like walking on my little walking pad while I work, or I'll get in some steps at the gym. I miss the sunshine. I miss my walks outside, but my goal is to walk around 8,000 steps a day. That's a weekly average. And if you're not a walker, just start bringing awareness to your steps with the goal of increasing it by between 200 and 300 steps per week. Go slow. I don't want you going from 0 steps to 8,000 steps. You're going to hate me. Go really, really slow with that, with slowly increasing. Now we all have an area that we need to work on for our health, whether that's nutrition or exercise or relationships or stress management or sleep. Mine is sleep. So for me, what I have found is I have to start winding down at 8 p.m. I take my sleep supplements. I take my magnesium. I start diffusing some calming essential oils for bedtime. And my goal is to get my butt in bed by 10 p.m. And that means I'm actually starting the process of getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth like 9 p.m. We all struggle in different areas. That's just where I've found I feel better. I have more energy. Most of us that are fatigued, like sleep is so key. And I would say if you have to choose between sleep and weightlifting, choose sleep. Sleep is really, really important. So that's kind of what my day looks like in a nutshell.
I love that. I got my oils right here, ready to be diffused.
I love it.
Having them handy. Um, I love all of that. And definitely the slow, incorporate one thing or increase your steps just a little bit. And having grace in the process. I think a lot of the times we're so black and white of like we have to do 10,000 steps a day or else, and then we don't hit it for one day, and so we just quit. And it's like, no, these are habits that you want to build for the rest of your life. And really, when you have these habits in place, you feel so much better. You perform better. Your business is going to perform better because you have that mental clarity. You feel filled up. And I know everyone says, like, fill your cup first. And it, like, okay, what does that mean? That means take care of you first, and everything else will fall into place and be so much easier to do. I didn't really believe it until I started doing it myself. Okay, Laura, what happens on a day where your routine gets messed up or like you skip something, life goes haywire?
What happens when shizzle hits the fan?
Yes, exactly.
What do we do in those moments? You show yourself so much grace in those moments, and you do the best that you can. And in those moments, if you like pick one thing, I just say hydrate, like drink some water. Like that's water is gonna help with a lot of things. So do that and start to just, I think we can beat up on ourselves and we are our own worst critic, right? And the inner critic comes in and she's kind of a bitch. Like she's like yelling at you and you're like, I'm doing the best that I can. Remind yourself of that. And I always like say, we'll start again tomorrow. Like if it's a survival mode day, it all happens like everything is going. We make the best choices that we can. But I don't want you skipping meals. So like get something in you. And this is why I like emergency restaurants like Chipotle. It's really easy. Like you can get a chicken salad and extra veggies and stuff. Or Jimmy John's has the unwich, where it's like a lettuce wrap like sandwich. Like get that. Or Jason's Deli, and you can grab something that like have some emergency food options, because do not be skipping meals. That's going to take your energy and you're just going to feel like garbage. Try to prioritize protein where you can, and you do the best that you can, and you start again tomorrow.
I love that. Or if you have extra meals, freeze those. Butcher Box has some good frozen
Yes.
meatballs that I'll throw in the air fryer with some vegetables. Once you start eating more protein, you really do crave it too, which I think is kind of fun. Um, Salads and Go ladies that live in the DFW area. I don't know if you guys have them out on the west side of town, but that's what we had for lunch today. Really good.
I've heard about that. There's one probably about 10 miles south of me, but I-35 is a joy, so I haven't made it that far. But
Oh
I've heard
yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, that's not a fun drive.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Laura, how long have you had kind of this healthy habit routine? And when you started, did you notice any differences in your business?
I started my weight loss journey in 2021. And I started with a program called Bright Line Eating. It's a book and they have an online program. Um, but I had tried a lot. I tried counting calories, I tried elimination diets, I tried all these things, and Bright Line Eating really resonated with me. But I tell people, like, do what works for you, trust your intuition with that. But what's really interesting about that is that at first I had a lot of people unfollow me. I had a lot of people say they were triggered. They didn't like watching me weigh and measure my food. And they were like, oh my gosh. But then something interesting happened. I just stayed consistent with it. I started losing the weight, and a lot of people started following me and they started showing up. And then all these bright line eater people wanted essential oils, which was really fun. So, um, like, that's been kind of fascinating along the journey. And similarly, I started weightlifting in 2022. So I've been doing it for about 2 years now. And a similar thing happened. Like some people fell off the map and were like, we're not here for this. But I started attracting people who were and were excited. And people were like, I'm really inspired by this. It's been fun to watch this. So it's kind of interesting to just look at it and go, man, we've been doing this for a while. And I think that's important too. Like, it's got to be sustainable. Whatever you pick, whatever you choose. And for me, weightlifting 20 to 25 minutes a day, I was like, I can do that. I can make that work. I can make that work in my life. And it it didn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah. I know, Laura, you go, this is like a total sidebar, but you go to the gym a lot of the times for your workouts. I like to work out at home. Like the idea of having to drive to the gym and it takes 10 minutes to get out of the neighborhood and then 5 minutes to get there. Like, okay, that's 15 minutes each direction. That's 30 more minutes. That's going to take me an hour instead of the 20 minutes it takes to run upstairs, do a workout, and come back down. So just, making it, my journey is not going to look the same as yours, but I also want to include that I love that you have had your brand evolve with you along this journey. A lot of the times, and we've been coaching a lot around, like, what do I post to social media? What is my niche? Like, and the answer is, unless you have a service-based or a product-based business. So Jen actually is opening a coffee truck. So hers is a little bit different, but for
Ooh,
everyone else, you are your brand. Laura is the brand of her business. And part of her brand is she sells essential oils and she weightlifts and she eats healthy and she shares healthy habits. And lately I've been seeing you're doing more mental health things. And that brand will evolve over time based on what you're doing. And you're gonna have people
100%.
leave. You're gonna have people
And
unfollow, you're gonna make people mad, and bye, you aren't my people anymore, and that's okay.
yes, I celebrate the unfollows. Because those people are never going to buy from you anyways. They're not your people. So I try to be so clear and show up. My bestie has this phrase that I love. She says, "You can have all of me or none of me." And I have to remind myself of that, like, and we'll say it to each other, all of me or none of me, right? Like when, because it is a privilege to be in your space, to be a witness to your journey, to see you show up to like all of this. So be you and be real, and you'll attract the people that are here for it.
100%. I love that. When you started lifting, how did that change your mental clarity at all?
Yes, a lot. Like I just noticed I had better focus, I had more energy. And if you want to get real nerdy and sciencey with this, when you exercise, you release BDNF. This is brain derived neurotropic factor. And this promotes neurogenesis, or the generation of new brain cells. And it helps to repair brain cells that were damaged the previous day from stress. So the BDNF will increase the speed at which your brain processes information by increasing connections in your neural pathways. So it gives you a really nice advantage. Plus, you get some nice neuroepinephrine, which activates peak concentration. You get some serotonin, which regulates anxiety, maximizes your memory, leaves you feeling relaxed. And then it's also going to raise your metabolic rate. So it's going to give you more energy. So movement will reshape the energy of your day, which is a
Wow.
win.
I just knew I felt better, but there's the science for you folks. And we're
And
done
there's
here.
why.
And we're done. I
Just
love that.
do it. You'll feel better.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What are some common misconceptions about physical health and business success that you've encountered?
I don't have the time. I hear that a lot. And I'm like, you got 20 to 25 minutes a day for your health. You totally do. I don't want to work out in a gym, just like what you were talking about. You could do this from home. I don't want to get bulky. Oh man, if I had $1 for every time a woman told me that, I'm like, you will not. I promise you, you will not. We just don't produce, men produce 7 times the amount of testosterone that women do. And it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get bulky. That's not going to happen. Um, it's dangerous. I could hurt myself. And don't we say all these things too, like in our business, like, oh, it's dangerous to show up. I don't have time to do that. Like, oh my gosh, people are going to see me without makeup. Oh, the whore. Like, we tell ourselves all these things. Um, but it's actually a very, very low risk of injury. We focus on form, we focus on range of motion, and increasing the weight. But I'm actually more afraid of what happens if I don't build strong muscles, because I lift for my 80-year-old self, my 90-year-old self, who I want to be really functional. And we are going to start losing muscle mass rapidly every year in your 30s. If you don't use it, you lose it. So we want to start building that right now. Fear of showing up with all these men, fear of going into the weight section, like we were kind of talking about how we're outnumbered there a little bit. And lifting weights regularly, it's going to improve your heart health. It's going to improve the health of your tendons and your joints and your ligaments and get them lubricated and get them feeling good and boost your metabolism. A lot of people, if they have pain, they're like, well, I don't want to do this. This sounds horrible. I'm already hurt. But the challenge is, and it sounds counterintuitive, but you will actually feel better if you can move your body even in pain. Just because we have pain doesn't mean that we don't move it. And that's my physical therapist brain talking to you. That's really, really powerful. Yeah. Okay. So Kim said, wondering what people would think of me if I had a set of weights in my day job office. I need that mental clarity. They're going to think you're a badass, Kim. They're going to be like, talk to me about these weights. They're going to be really excited. I love it. I
100%.
would. If I walked in and saw weights in the office, I'd be like, let's talk. But something that I noticed at doTERRA's last leadership retreat that I went to was the top of the top leaders, like we're talking top 1% of the company. They were all in the gym with me in the morning, working out before general session. And it was like a who's who of all that. I was like, oh, there's them. You're in good company with that. And I looked at that and took note of that and was like, wow, there's a reason why they're in the top percent and why they're showing up and taking care of their health right now.
I love that. When I started working out, I told the guys at work, I was like, and it was before I really had weights for like working out at home. I was like, I think I'm gonna start, a couple of days a week going down in the gym. And we have a gym in the basement. But I'm afraid like I'm gonna do it wrong or like you guys are gonna make fun of me. And one of them piped up and said, absolutely not, Chrissy. If you are down in the gym, I'm gonna be clapping for you. I will not be making fun of you. If I see you doing something wrong, I might say like, hey, correct your form here. But if not, like go down there, take up as much space as you can. You have every right to be in that gym just like any of these other muscleheads.
It's so true. And I'm going to teach you a secret. Okay, are you ready? Here is how you can tell in the gym if this is somebody that is going to be helpful or if it's somebody that you just stay away. And it's really easy. And it's my little barometer, and it's called the gym bro nod. So if you watch guys, they do this. If they know somebody, they nod up. If a guy sees a guy and they know him, what's up? Hey, bro, it's not up, not up. If they don't know them, it's a nod down. So what I do when I'm constantly scanning in the gym, you can do this at the store. It doesn't have to be the gym, but this is a good little thing to do, a little trick, is look the person in the eyes and nod down. It's a form of respect. I do this with men and women. I do this with everyone in the gym. Look at them in the eye and nod down. If they mirror me and they look at me in the eye and nod down, I know that's a good guy. I know that that's probably somebody that if I need help picking something up or if I have a question or I need to adjust something that I could probably ask them. If they look away or they ignore you, like, nope, like I don't trust you. You're not somebody that I'm going to ask. And it's so interesting. Like I have no research on this, but it works. They need to do research on this. It's quick. Nonverbal cues, but it's an easy way to kind of see and to make friends with people at the gym. And believe it or not, a lot of guys, when you're showing up, they respect that. The right guys. The ones that don't, ignore them. Who cares about them? But that's a very small percentage. I can count on one hand the interactions that I had.
Yeah.
That were weird.
100%. I think because I work in a male dominated industry, it's like the idea of the whole gym being guys doesn't really affect me. But I remember back like when I first started college and it was male dominated college, like it's intimidating to be around that many guys. But just go take your space and they might even, when I come back from break, they're like, wow, you were lifting heavy today, Chrissy. Or I saw you working hard, and stuff like that. And so they do respect you. They're there for the same reasons that you're there. So
So true.
Um, Can you give us any effective strategies for integrating movement breaks into your busy workday?
Awareness is key. So track your steps if you have an Apple Watch or an app or something. I'm old school. I like my pedometer. My my Instagram following knows I accidentally flushed one down the toilet and had to replace it, but I have a pedometer. And that's what I use. But work on getting more steps. If you can get a walking pad for a treadmill desk, or even just making it a goal to take a little break and go outside for 10 minutes. Or if you have to get on a call, go outside and walk while you're on the call, moving around. Then you get some sunlight. That's powerful for mood. You're moving, energy. All of those can be really powerful. Even if you just set a timer, an hourly timer to remind you to move. Like get up, stretch. You can do squats at your desk. You can just like with the chair, you could just like do a couple squats, like, once an hour. That would be great. Do some calf raises. I have a post-it note, put post-it notes everywhere. I love that. I have a post-it note in my bathroom mirror that says, do your calf raises. So when I go to the bathroom and then when I'm washing my hands, I do my calf raises. When I'm brushing my teeth, I do my calf raises. Whenever you can fit it in, or could you do a really quick lift during your lunch break? Could you take 20 minutes? Maybe that's at home. You don't need fancy equipment, some dumbbells, some resistance bands. You can do a lot with that. Can you take a little dance break? I love a good dance break, like just whatever that is. That's fun. That incorporates movement, because I think as women, we were taught that movement is punishment for what we eat or to try to look a certain way. And when we start to flip the switch on that and reverse that and think about it more as movement is a celebration for what my body can do. And there's something really powerful in a world that I think tells women that we need to shrink down and be quiet, to show up in the weight room, to take up space, to try to grow, to try to build some muscle. There's something kind of magical about that. I like it. It's my rebellious side that kind of comes out with that too. So like tapping into that, but finding movement that you enjoy and doing it. And you may find, I tell people, I don't love lifting. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to go to the gym. No, I'm usually like, oh, okay. But if I can just get my butt in the car and do it, I love the results. I love how I feel after, and the mental health aspects even more than the physical ones. So it's like brushing your teeth. It becomes a habit. You're not always going to be motivated, but it's discipline. Doing the thing that you know you're supposed to do, even when you don't want to do it, especially when you don't want to do it, is powerful. So just sneak it in whenever you can. Kim's going to have weights at her office. She can do some dumbbell curls. She can. I love it.
Love that. Yeah, motivation's kind of crap. Like commitment is really where it's at.
Yes.
And Laura and her husband Mark every Monday do Move It Monday.
Move it
Yeah.
Monday.
Move It
Yeah.
Monday. And they do some silly dance or something, and it's always fun to watch. So, but just like the weekly reminder to like have a little fun, have a little dance party. And then Jackie turned me on to, and it's too bright now, Jackie, because it's great light. But she turned me on to this timer, that's like a visual timer, which is kind of fun. But this has been great for staying on task. If you're like, hey, I know I'm not gonna move, you can set it for 30 minutes, do your work for 30 minutes, and then go do your calf raises or your squats, or go take a walk for 10 minutes. Oh, it's beeping again. I'm trying to beep off. But this has been like, for like the $20 investment has helped me so much. I love this little timer. It's better than I used to just set like a digital timer and then I just snooze it. And this is like, no, the physical timer is telling me to do something.
Oh, I want the link for that. That is so cool. Thank you, Jackie.
Jackie is amazing. Okay, last question, and then yeah, because the other ones. Yeah, last question, and then we'll open it up to everyone for questions. Can you give us some tips for prioritizing your health while you travel?
Yes. Planning is key with these things. One, take a water bottle that dehydrates the heck out of you. Like water with some electrolytes immediately, to have that on hand, and have some healthy snacks on hand, like some meat sticks, some nuts, pieces of fruit, little packets of protein shakes. Like I'm going to tell you to get your protein in. Like that has saved me when flights get delayed or canceled or something happens. Like have some food with you, plan ahead. Like I love having an emergency plan. So like where you're going, is there a Whole Foods, a Jason's Deli, a Chipotle? What kind of restaurants are nearby? What does that look like? Does your hotel or wherever you're staying, do they have a gym? If not, can you pack some resistance bands? They take up no space, like just throw them in your bag. You can do a lot with resistance bands. Walk as much as you possibly can. Take your supplements with you when you travel. Like take a good multivitamin, take a good vitamin D, bring your creatine, bring your magnesium, like have some things with you there. And then try to prioritize sleep as much as possible. Really, really focus on your sleep when you're traveling because it's just hard on your system anyways, but get some movement, eat as best as you can. Ooh, and Aldi has resistance bands for $5. So go grab some bands.
Yes, at least my Aldi did. Clean Simple Eats is the brand that Laura turned me on for protein powder. And they also have like nut butters and stuff that come in little travel pouches. I just had one of those for a snack earlier because I'm like, we're gonna eat dinner after this call, but I need a little something something and I wasn't in the mood for nuts. So um all those sorts of things. I love that. But Clean Simple Eats, they have some really great stuff. They have hydration packets, they have protein powders, they have all the things.
I love them. Their stuff's
They're really
actually
great.
good.
Okay, anyone have any tips or tricks that they want to throw out there that have worked for them or questions to ask Laura? Deer in the headlight look. Now, Laura, business coach Chrissy here for a second. I'm going to suggest that when I send you this link, you take it and you put it into Opus Clip. Is that what it's called, Jackie? Yes. It is an AI software that will clip your long form videos into short little clips that you can use for reels. Because you said some really good stuff that like would be buzzwords for reels. Jackie did all of mine. So go ahead, Jackie.
When you put it into Opus clips, make sure to go through and review each clip. Like when I did Chrissy's, so many of them had to be clipped because it would clip it in weird spots. So make sure you go through each clip and adjust as needed. But it's
Is
a
it an
really cool
app or
program.
it's online?
It's online. It's a
How
super cool
cool.
program. It's awesome.
This is why you're legendary, Jackie. She
Oh,
knows all the secrets.
Chrissy found it. I just did
You
all
two
the
are a
stuff.
dynamic duo. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
She's the
Okay,
brains and I'm the
so
ADD.
it takes what we've listened here and you load it in and it decides where the best stops are, like truly AI generated.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. But there is the human component
Right.
where
Right. Always. Yeah.
So it'll pull like on
Fascinating.
what it thinks will perform. So like it'll pull keywords and things of that, but it also adds like the text underneath, like your captions underneath as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then so I made the captions like on brand with my branding colors. And then any videos that were horizontal, I just dropped into Canva on a story template with my brand colors in the back. So if you've ever seen one of those pink clips where it's pink in the background and then it's like a horizontal video of me, that's something that was clipped by AI.
Cool.
But you said some really good stuff. So I'll drop this in a Google Drive link and send it to you. So you can take that and run with it because I think you said some really great things that hopefully the you squatting ends up as one that's clipped.
Yes, and pee meditation. Can we please have that on there for the world?
Okay,
Thank you,
any
Jackie, for the link.
questions for Laura? Okay, if you'd like to follow Laura's journey, she is at Dr. Laura Ritchie on Instagram. I'll drop it in the chat here in a second. And is it the same handle for YouTube?
Yep, same handle for YouTube and for Facebook. Just
I love
search
it.
Dr. Laura Ritchie. I'm in all the places.
And links to her courses and oils and all of the things that she recommends is in her Instagram profile. I went and stalked that a little bit yesterday. She has some great tips and tricks in there. And go watch her stories every day. Like they're the ones I look forward to the most. She shares like tips and tricks like this in little teeny tiny bite-sized pieces. And it's just so real. If you can emulate what she's doing of like showing up authentically as you, no matter what, like that is also your business lesson of the day. So
Oh my gosh, thanks, Chrissy.
thank you so much
I have
for your time, Laura. Go
I,
ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Me. So it's kind of about, well, two things, but we'll start an oil question.
I love it.
What do you recommend for like that really works, right? Legitimately works for like focusing. Because I struggle with that big time. Like I struggle with my mind going 7 places at once. Um and then I feel like I don't accomplish as much as I'm capable of because I'm 7 places at one time. So what would help with that?
Oh, I got 2 oils for you. So one is Spanish sage, and you can diffuse it, but you can actually take it internally too. It will taste gross. Like I'm just gonna flat out say
Yeah, it
like,
sounds like it
ooh.
would.
Like you can do a drop on your tongue, like if you're a heavy hitter, boom. But you might want to put a drop in like a good sized glass of water or in a little veggie capsule so you don't have to taste it. But Spanish sage, there's some really interesting research about it. And I got to hear a physician's panel, and this physician was talking about how they have to get recertified and on their boards, and they have to study and take these exams. And he was doing all the Spanish sage, and it like really, really helped. So diffuse it if you're really gung ho, do some internally, which is nice. And then we have a blend called In Tune, and it's specifically designed to help with focus and ADD and ADHD. And you can put that on, it's undiluted. So you can put it on topically, like put it over pulse points. And especially for focus, I like to get it as close to the brain as possible.
Mhm.
So like base of the skull, like kind of along the carotid arteries, like just think like neck, skull, under the nose, that you're inhaling
Mhm.
it pretty regularly. But you can open it up and get like a little dropper and diffuse that too, if you want. But those are 2
Okay.
really good ones to kind of help.
Okay, cool. And I saw another one because I went on your Instagram and followed you already.
I love it. Yay. We can do Instagram friends.
I saw something you had like, so what for inflammation? So like I have very bad inflammation in my body, and a lot of it is like I have thyroid problems and sleep apnea, and my C-reactive protein is super high due to a lot of those things. So is there something that could help with inflammation
Yes.
internally?
Yes, we have a couple. I can give you some supplement suggestions, or I can give you some oil suggestions.
Sure, supplements is fine. I mean, what like what's more effective, honestly? Like I hate taking pills, so what is for me, if I'm going to take it, I want to know it's effective, like, and it's worth my time, basically.
Okay, let me give you a few options then, because this is the interesting thing with the oils. I really believe in bioindividuality, and you have to kind of find what works and what feels best for you. The like mother oil for inflammation is frankincense. Like
Okay.
you go onto PubMed and you read like research study after research study, but it tastes like a tree.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna taste like a tree. So if you want to get really crazy, a drop under the tongue for sublingual absorption is going to go into your bloodstream really quickly.
Yeah.
Some people can't do it and they need it like a little bit of water and put it in there. But frankincense is such a powerful one. You got to take it with consistency like anything. I like copaiba oil too. And so I will do like a drop of each. We call it Frankenco. So you just like drop of each under the tongue morning and night. I keep it by my toothbrush. So it's just there. If you don't like things that taste like a tree under your tongue, we do have copaiba soft gels that they are just, you can take it, but if you don't love swallowing pills, that might not be the best option. But we do have, it's called Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex, and it's a supplement that has frankincense in it. It's basically like all things anti-inflammatory, all
Mhm.
rolled up here. So I think of it as like a non-toxic classic Tylenol, if you will. And you could take one with breakfast, one with dinner, and go up. Like you could take two with breakfast, two with dinner. But those were ones. My mom has really bad arthritis, and she started taking that and was like, I can go up and down stairs and my knees don't
Oh,
hurt
wow.
anymore.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I used those after surgery because I couldn't tolerate the pain medications. So I was doing like frankencolpiba under the tongue, turmeric. We do have a really nice turmeric supplement too. Turmeric's really great anti-inflammatory. It's a dual capsule chamber. It's the entire plant. So you get the turmerones from the essential oil and the curcuminoids from the plant. So to put that into perspective, because it's the whole plant, you're getting an 11 times absorption versus like
Oh,
something
wow.
that you would buy at the health food
Yeah.
store. So it's like
Right.
turmeric on steroids. But I did that turmeric, the deep blue polyphenol complex, the Colpiba soft gels, and the Frank. And that's what got me off like pain medication that I couldn't tolerate when I had surgery where they broke my pelvis in 4 places to kind of like
Ew.
build me a new hip joint. And
Yeah.
the pain meds were giving me migraines. And I was
Yeah.
like, look, I would rather have broken pelvis pain than like living in a migraine all the time.
Yes.
And that was like the combo that really, really helped.
Okay, cool.
Send me a message. I'll send you some
Thank you. Yeah.
info. Yeah.
Thank you.
Those
so
good
much.
questions.
So
I love
Laura-
talking oils. Yeah.
Laura built me a cart when I got started with her with like all the things that she suggested and set me up with the deep blue. No, what is that called? The blue.
Yeah. The deep blue. Yeah, you got it.
Or no, you just said it earlier, the
The
pill.
deep blue polyphenol.
Yes.
Yeah.
That and the turmeric post-surgery. And this surgery, I had the least amount of like swelling. And after 4 days, I came off the hardcore medicine to Arnica Montana and then the supplements that she suggested. So,
Okay, cool. Awesome.
but
Good
she's
to
totally
know.
right. Like it can vary person to person
Right.
of like what works for you might not work for someone else. So,
Right.
And Jen,
Also-
this is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is fascinating. I did some research and just diffusing lavender essential oil reduced pain in post-op patients. So I will tell people, like I like to hit it from different areas. Like there's something powerful about taking it internally because you're getting a systemic support.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's something also the aromatherapy that kind of helps to turn down the volume in the central nervous system too. So sometimes if we can kind of, I love the internal topical and aromatic. Some people we
Yeah.
need to kind of hit it from all 3 ways.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I think you're
I'm
muted.
muted. I'm muted because BB
Someone
was talking.
talking.
I said you should chat with Jackie because she's the queen of ADHD tips and like how to work with it instead of against it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how she gets what she does done in a day that she does, but it's fascinating.
I don't know how I do it either.
That's
Unbridled
funny.
ADD just keeps me going. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
used to get a lot done, but now it's not so easy anymore.
No, for me,
Now
I've
is a
noticed.
season of self-care for you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jackie.
No, you're fine. No, I've noticed for me anyway, I have the ability to hyper focus on things. And when I hyper focus on those things, like I can knock out everything. And then when I don't have that ability, very little gets done and it gets a little bit sketchy sometimes. But one thing I've noticed over the years is, and it goes back to kind of what Dr. Laura said, is when I'm taking better care of myself, I'm able to better focus. So a couple of years ago, I had lost a bunch of weight. I was able to focus on everything. Like I was much better at juggling all of the balls that I still keep up in the air. But I was better able to manage that. And now we're getting back on that and things are falling back into place. So we're trying to figure out how to put this in a way that makes sense, because it makes sense up here.
Mhm.
No, but recently, like for the past 2 years, and I don't know if you operate the same way I do, lists. So many lists. And those lists would have like a topic and then bullet points, and like there would be little trees going off my list. And there'd be so many things because that's how my brain works. It's like a tree. Any given day, it's going 5 different ways all at the same time. And that's what my list looks like. And those lists give me things to cross off. And if I can cross something off and have something to follow, I find that more manageable. I
Yeah,
don't know if
definitely.
any of that made sense to you.
Yes. Makes
Good,
sense.
because I'm like, in my head, I know this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone. We need it for the gram. Smile. All right, let me make sure everyone's eyes are open.
No
Yeah,
one's
they
picking
look
their
good.
nose or anything.
Jackie, I love your awareness around that. How you like harness it as a superpower and you figured out what works for you. And
Yeah,
even the
definitely.
awareness of like,
Mm.
wow, when I do this, that's really powerful.
Well, I also went through a period last year where I hadn't harnessed any of it, and it was just unbridled madness. And like that's honestly what it was. And it took one of those moments like, holy moly, I just dropped all of the balls I was juggling. I need to get this taken care of. I can't drop these again. So it took that holy moly moment before it all rounded back out.
And I
That's
think
so
that
powerful.
that also speaks to having systems. So like as the CEO of your business, even if, and I mean, I think Jackie and I can speak pretty frankly, but I was like, Jackie, like, what happened?
Actually, yeah, it was you.
And I was like, what's going on? Like,
It
you
was
were so
you.
on top of it. And then, like, all these balls got dropped. And, like, I wasn't mad, but I'm like, okay, obviously, what I'm doing here and, like, how we're communicating isn't working. Let's find a
Right.
better system. Let's figure out a way that works. Let's put things into a routine. And, okay, every Tuesday, you pull for this winner. And
Mhm.
every Sunday, we do this. And putting things of, like, okay, you're going to schedule posts on Monday. So I need to have them ready by Sunday so you can be prepared for your best week and like how we're
Right.
communicating. um and so like for your like being the CEO of your business, you, even if things get dropped, it still goes back on you and like what's wrong with your
Mhm.
system, what wasn't communicated correctly. I love
Mhm.
Jackie, so this isn't, this isn't
No,
applicable to her, but like what what failed in your hiring process? Did you not interview well enough? Did you not ask the right questions in the interview? And like that's hiring someone and having releasing that control is so hard. And then having someone that, quits on you. I had multiple assistants like just leave and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go do this or that or whatever." And you're like, "I just spent all this time training
Mhm.
someone." And like that's part of the game. Is you're going to have people that aren't a fit. You're going to have people that, maybe they're a fit, but the system that you have isn't working. And how do you, make it all work? So more of
Right.
that's in module 8 for you guys too.
But to go back to something else, like a lot of the systems that you have in place, Chrissy, make my job that much easier. Like I work for about 5 different people. And of those 5 people, Chrissy by far has the most work for me to do, but she's also the easiest because she has those systems in place. Whereas some other people might just be like, here, run with all of this, which I'm fine with. Chrissy has these systems that make it all much smoother. I don't have to figure things out. And if I do, it's not going to take me forever because she's got those systems. Like Trello, I know you've got your course on that. Trello's amazing. It's such a game changer.
I can only imagine how much money they waste and how much of your time, like to me, that's even more important. Is like, I don't want to waste your time. Your time is just as valuable as mine is. And so I don't want to waste your time waiting on something from me. So
I only have one time waster. Everybody else just gives me puzzles. And that's how I look at them, is puzzles. It's like, okay, I got this to figure out. Let's go. But anyhow,
love it. We are so off topic,
Oh.
but that is okay. I had such a
Sorry.
lovely evening with you guys. Kim,
Yes,
good luck with
thank
your
you.
move. Laura, thank you so much for your time tonight. This was
Yes,
fabulous.
thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's so fun to meet you all. It
Yes.
feels like chatting with soul sisters.
Yes.
thanks for letting me crash the meeting.
Of course.
Yes.
Anytime. Anytime. You're welcome anytime. All right.
Mhm.
I will talk to you guys again very
Bye,
soon.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.